All right, Eagle Nation, it is official. The Birds are Super Bowl champions after dominating the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59. A complete team win from top to bottom, and the Eagles are living high as they have delivered their second Lombardi in franchise history. But there are some things that have not been said that need to be put out there, so we will get into it all. But welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Appreciate everybody so much that has come along on the journey this season. It has been absolutely incredible. And for them to be able to cap it off with a Super Bowl victory is just second to none. I just got back from the city. I wanted to go out there, just experience the vibes a little bit. It is 3:30 in the morning, and I wanted to get this out there before I went to bed because I'm still living on the high of the emotion. You know what I mean? It hasn't really settled in. It feels like a dream. Did the Eagles really just do that? Did they go out there and not only win this game and not only become Super Bowl champions, but again, after dropping 55 in the NFC Championship game, did they really go out there and put a beating on the Chiefs like that? We're talking about a team that was trying to go for an NFL record three-peat, and the Eagles made it a laugher. I mean, are you kidding me, man? Look at this picture. I mean, take the emotions in, appreciate it all. Unbelievable stuff, man. I'm so happy for so many of these guys. We'll go down the list. We might not get to everybody, but everyone had a part in this. This was a complete team success, and it was just unbelievable, man. And they're calling them the Dynasty Destroyers now, right? The Eagles were the middle team that took out the Patriots in 2017-18. They would have had a three-peat. And the Eagles take down the Kansas City Chiefs when they were trying to go for their third straight. And like I said, they absolutely embarrassed them. The Eagles were in a class of their own. And we said this week in and week out, literally the only game they lost since before the bye week was a game where Jalen Hurts exited in the first quarter, and Kenny Pickett almost won that game against Washington. Either way, the Birds got their revenge later on. But there's so many special moments, and, you know, leading up to this game all week, for the 2 weeks, I kept saying, I'm very confident. For some reason, I'm not usually like that. I'm just overly confident in this team and their abilities. Now, maybe an hour before the game, I started to build up some anxiousness, some nerves, right? But as soon as the Eagles went down and scored, and I saw the way that these boys on the defensive line were getting at Mahomes with only rushing 4, all the nerves went away. I was calm. I just knew they were going to win. But I continually talk about game-changing momentum swingers. You think back to the NFC Championship in 17, the Pat Robinson pick 6. You think back to the Super Bowl, right? The Philly special, and the NFC Championship this year, Saquon breaking the run. There's always that game-changing play. And how about your 22nd birthday and a present? Cooper DeJean, when he picks sixes Patrick Mahomes and he runs it back for 38 yards, I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, are we really doing this? He did that. Talk about a time for your first interception. Are you kidding me, Coop? Man, as soon as he came back after that bye week, and think about it, he didn't really have a training camp, just the impact that he made on this team, just the impact that Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean made on this team as rookies, 2 rookies starting in the Super Bowl and now have a ring. It's unbelievable. That, for me, changed the game. And later on, when the Chiefs came out after halftime, it was 24-0, and they went 3 and out, and the Eagles hit them hard right away. And then I just saw Mahomes turning the ball over. He did not look like himself. He was seeing stars. I've never seen Mahomes this rattled. That's because of what the Eagles defense did to him. But we got to talk about the offensive side of the ball, man. The difference 2 years can make. Jalen Hurts, ladies and gentlemen, let the praise be as loud as the hate was, okay? Jalen Hurts, the difference, look at that. Lombardi Trophy, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts lost in the confetti. What a picture, man. This is awesome, epic photos. And you can't say anything about him, man. Look at him taking in the moment, smoking a cigar, chilling. Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl champion, and whether it's the national analysts all season long who continue to try to drag him through the mud, even the local media, everybody on the radio stations, all of them better come out with an apology to Jalen Hurts tomorrow. Because you know what's crazy about this game? when you go back and look at it, Saquon was shut down. That is what Steve Spagnuolo went in with the objective to do. Let's take Saquon out of the game. And what did Jalen do? He played the best game of his career. Similar to 2 years ago, he made one big mistake, but it didn't matter because he picked himself up. He made big play after big play. Even the 4th and 2 on the first drive that was called back with a BS penalty. Beautiful ball. How about the 46-yard bomb to DeVonta Smith on one play? They said he couldn't throw the ball. Did you see that ball? I mean, he was squeezing it into tight windows all day. He was escaping the pocket when he needed to. He was not getting flushed out easily. He was running it with his legs. He's such a dynamic quarterback. And the one thing about Jalen all the time that we say is he's a winner, right? And you could have doubts about him. You could have questions about his pocket awareness and his ability to read the field. At the end of the day, this dude finds ways to win games. Jalen Hurts now 26 years old, 5 years in the league, 46-20 as a starter, 6-3 in the postseason, 2-time Pro Bowler, first-time second-team All-Pro, and 2 NFC championships, 1 Super Bowl. And oh, by the way, he wins the MVP. Very much deserved. Unbelievable game out of Jalen. One bad play is all he had. It was a bad one, but guess what? He made up for it. 17 for 22, 221, 2 touchdowns. And how about 72 yards on the ground with a running touchdown? And I said he'd have a big game on the ground because I knew the Chiefs were very bad at stopping mobile quarterbacks, and he just made play after play, big third downs. I mean, just getting everybody involved, man. Dallas Goedert, even Jahan Dotson. He was amazing. Jalen Hurts is an absolute winner, and whatever you have to say about him, throw it in the trash because it doesn't matter anymore. All these dumb analysts, they better give him his credit. He went out there, and both Super Bowls, he outplayed Patrick Mahomes, and I think there's something that needs to be said about that. But, man, DeVonta Smith had the touchdown. DeVonta has won on every level. Talk about being a national champion, a Heisman winner. How about a Super Bowl champion? This guy, all he does is win. No ego. 26 years old, could be a wide receiver 1 on any team, gets overshadowed by AJ. Guess what? Doesn't matter. No egos. That is what sticks out to me from this team. Everybody wanted it for each other. They weren't cocky after the NFC Championship. They all stayed locked in. And one guy that's been locked in all year, man, look at that. Could you imagine signing Saquon back in March and thinking that he'd be here in his first year with the way that he played this season as an NFL champion? Saquon Barkley sets the most single-season rushing yards in NFL history with postseason and regular season combined, 2,504. Didn't have the big game today. Do you think Saquon cares about that on his 20th birthday? Hell no. He's got a ring. Thank you, New York Giants. All year long, carried this team, and really the Eagles redefined NFL football this year. They ran it with the pillars up front. It was a team collective effort, and their hard-nosed defense, like that's how they won games. Jalen Hurts game managed. Kind of reminds me of the Seahawks with the Legion of Boom and Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch, and you could compare it to other teams as well. But I feel like teams are going to start copying what the Eagles did. The fact of the matter is, though, that Howie Roseman always invests in the trenches, and he also makes some insane signings. Here is Howie Roseman with Saquon Barkley after the game. I mean, man, Howie Roseman presses every button correctly, doesn't he? Howie Roseman, this guy, every time his back is against the wall, whether it's after 17, right, and they go a couple, or even before that, he gets thrown into a dust closet by Chip Kelly. Then he comes back, helps him win the Super Bowl. Then in 2020, the whole thing implodes. Then he comes back, leads him to a Super Bowl in 22. Then they collapse last year. He comes back, does it again. This guy's an absolute freaking genius. And when do we start talking about him as one of the GOAT GMs? The guy just keeps doing it. He just keeps doing it and doing it. Eagles don't draft a corner in the first round in 18 years? He goes out first 2 rounds, Quinyon, Mitchell, Cooper, DeJean. We can look at the AJ trade. We can look at the DeVonta drafting, a Jalen. And there's so much. There's so much. He just presses every right button. Look at his last 2 drafts. Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, all guys that have performed on the biggest stage. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but ladies and gentlemen, this could be the start of a dynasty. With the players that he has brought in, they're all young. They will have most of the nucleus next year as well. He is unbelievable, man. Howie Roseman, and how many times he's been trashed and thrown behind in this city. And look, I've talked down on him before too, but he has my utmost respect. He is one of the best GMs I've ever seen. He is motivated. He is determined. And he did it again. He did it again. You know who did it again? Not Juju. Juju, we remembered. And oh, by the way, speaking of Howie Roseman, you know what's even freaking crazier? The top 2 paid players on the defense didn't even play. Bryce Huff was a healthy scratch. $17 million per year. Bryce Huff was a healthy scratch. James Bradbury, haven't seen that dude in a year. James Bradbury kind of got his revenge here on Juju, right? Shout out to Juju. You know, maybe go make a TikTok or something. But the Eagles' top 2 players didn't even play. That's how good Howie Roseman has been at drafting the depth of this team. And how about Josh Sweat, man? Josh Sweat, a guy who we thought was gone last offseason with Hassan Reddick. Howie Roseman brings him back for a year. Now he's going to hit free agency, just signed a new agent. And he had 2.5 sacks in the Super Bowl. And he says on what winning a championship is like, everything, especially balling out in the biggest win all year and a champion. I can't even explain it. I can't even think right now. And again, back to Howie, like the guys that he has drafted and brought in, Milton Williams, we thought was a bust, man. He had 2 sacks in the Super Bowl. What about Jordan Davis, guy who we thought was a bust and out of shape? How about Moro Ajomo, who's been great all year? How about Jalix Hunt with a half a sack in the Super Bowl? 3rd round rookie. We didn't think this guy was playing. Like I said, man, Howie Roseman just finds gem after gem after gem. And he is the reason. He is the architect behind this whole thing. And man, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams might leave. And Brandon Graham, who goes out on top, shout out the BG, man. But outside of those, you might have the whole damn nucleus intact again. It's unbelievable. And you know who you have here, man? This guy right here. Man, I was wrong about Vic Fangio back in the bye week. Vic Fangio is the grandfather of the bend but don't break defense. He is an absolute savant. He had, and he is responsible for maybe the biggest turnaround in one season in NFL history. Could you imagine this defense last year with the way that they played coming back to look like this all year long? Never gave up the big play, held teams below 20 points. And not only were they bending and not breaking, they were sticky in coverage. They were up on you. They were in your grill, rushing for, no blitzing. All the things we wanted to see. This guy knew exactly what he was doing. As soon as he got Cooper DeJean back, I mean, he's like a immaculate chess player. He just makes every right move. And Vic Fangio deserves so much credit. I'm glad he's not going anywhere. Kellen Moore might leave, which definitely sucks. You know, Jalen will have a new play caller, and I think that could mess some things up. But man, Vic Fangio winning in Philadelphia where he grew up. He's a Philly fan. He doesn't want to go coach again. This guy's an absolute monster. And talk about an unbelievable year, man. Vic Fangio deserves all the credit in the world for what he was able to do with this defense. And you know the gem he found, right? The guy who he moved positions in the training camp, Zack Baun. Zack Baun gets an interception in this game. Did you see how Mahomes threw it right to him? Zack Baun diving catch. Mahomes looked so rattled. I've never seen him this scared in my life. Travis Kelce had no catches in the first half. First time that's ever happened in a postseason game. It was 34-0. That was the biggest lead in Super Bowl history. So many records broken. Zack Baun goes from, in New Orleans, being a special teamers to come back the next season and win a damn Super Bowl being all-pro linebacker. It's amazing. The stories on this team, man. Mekhi Becton looked like a wash with the Jets. He comes back, wins a Super Bowl. I love this team, man. They are so good. And how about Jake Elliott? He's been rough. He's had a bad time the recent weeks, but you know what, man? Jake Elliott accounted for 16 points. He was perfect in the biggest game of the season. And like I said, it was a complete team effort, top to bottom, man. They just absolutely dominated the Chiefs, and it kept piling on. It kept piling on. People were like, hey, don't get complacent. You know, keep your foot on their neck. But it didn't matter, man. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, they scored 22 points. I don't count that. They had 6 points when it mattered. The rest was garbage time. This game was 37-6. It was a laugher. The Eagles embarrassed a team in the middle of a dynasty with Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes, and they've now beat the 2 best duos in history, Brady Belichick, Mahomes and Reid, and nobody can ever take it away from us, man. Unbelievable stuff. We'll have more as we go on, but the Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Everybody deserves credit. Chiefs didn't even have a third down in the first half. They've been the best team all year, second best team on third down. Unbelievable job by the Eagles, man, top to bottom. And they are Super Bowl champions. They are bringing the Lombardi back to Philly, second in history. And who knows, they might be able to win more in the future. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me your thoughts and reactions down below. And with that being said, I'll catch you on the next one.